We're live.
We're live.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to week 2
of
the Zappadan, night 8.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. How are you?
Me? I'm good. I don't know why that took me time to come to, but I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good. It's cold here. It's been raining a lot, so it's been tough. But the holidays are around the corner.
Tonight's album, Sleep Dirt.
How can I be mad looking at that cute little creature?
Frank hated the cover. This was also not the authorized title. Frank wanted this album to be called Hot Rats 3. Hey, Aaron, Merry Zappadan to you too. Cool. A live viewer.
Cute.
Sweet. All right, so this was part of the leather package, if we are to believe certain sources.
I believe that.
But it was also meant to be titled Hot Rats 3. We've got Frank in print saying that. Sounds like two different stories. Anyway, Sleep Dirt was meant to be called Hot Rats 3. As such, it is an instrumental album.
Yes.
Somewhat jazzy.
And it fits in perfectly. You can see it being a Hot Rats 3.
Now, Hot Rats 2 was 1972's Waka Jawaka, which depicts a sink with hot and rats on the faucet, making that one Hot Rats 2.
Yeah.
Hot Rats 3 is this one, Sleep Dirt. This is, along with Orchestral Favorites, Frank's first 2 all-instrumental albums.
Yeah.
In its original form. Let's get through the original album, then we'll talk about its remix.
Sounds good.
The album opens with Filthy Habits. Just like Zoodalures, we get these monster guitar tracks.
Yeah, I love this one.
Yeah.
It's a super trippy, super psychedelic track.
For sure.
It takes you on a journey. I really like this one a lot.
I think it's in a lopsided time signature, too.
It is, yeah.
And that's something that helps. It's got that Middle Eastern vibe to it.
And I think, like, something that I'd love to call out here is Terry Bozzio's drumming. He's the drummer on this album. He's restrained when he needs to be and bombastic when he needs to be.
Which you don't typically get with a Terry Bozzio performance. Typically, it's balls to the wall.
Exactly. And I think that's actually a sign of a really apt musician is when they know when to pull back. Like, as a vocalist, they always tell you, like, or any instrument, but that's just the one I'm most familiar with, is they always tell you, like, knowing when to pull back is just as important as knowing when to belt or to go into your head voice or to, like, really sing it out.
Right.
You need the highs and lows. And I think his drumming, it displays that really well on this track.
Right. Same thing with drumming, or just with traditional rock drumming. You get Charlie Watts, who's much more restrained, and then someone like Bozzio or Ginger Baker. And then in the middle is someone like Ringo Starr or Mick Avery from the Kinks.
We should do a spectrum of drummers.
We should totally do it.
Sexuality.
We should totally do a video on drummers.
Post Zappadan idea.
Yeah, we're taking requests for post Zappadan ideas. We're big fans of classic rock, funk, blues, soul.
Yeah.
And
or just any topic in general.
Any topic in general. We tend to touch on stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so up next are we done with Filthy Habits?
Yeah, I think so.
Live, this one is a monster. He did this a lot in 76.
Yeah.
Next is, what is it?
Oh my God, why am I blanking? Flambe.
Flambe.
Yes, I was like, can it starts with an F? Flambe.
Now I want some dessert.
That does sound good.
Oh, here's the full cover.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think the fact that we couldn't remember the title speaks volumes about the track itself.
Right, it's the piano track.
Yeah, it's
featuring George Duke. It's a good performance. It's just not memorable.
George Duke is great on it. He's never not great.
Right.
I think it's, another good trilling piano track, just like the one that follows this one as well. But I think both of these are kind of similar, actually. To me, they just like don't stick out.
Right. We just listened to the remix, which has the vocal overdubs done by Thana Harris. And I hate to say it because I'm not a fan of the vocal remix at all. I hated that version of the record. Yeah. I was one of the dorks who had a vinyl rip in the mid-aughts. Or, I supposedly had one, because
I know.
that wouldn't be above board. But look at this lineup. It's the same lineup as what you get on One Size Fits All. It's Duke, it's Frank, it's O'Hearn on bass, which is a neat addition, Ruth Underwood, and Chester Thompson on the drums. So this is a recording from 75. Whether we like it or not, there is something missing from that track. And I think it is the vocal part.
I agree.
Whether we like the vocal part or not is left to be determined. That said, maybe Flambe would have sounded better with Napoleon as the singer.
I agree with that. I would have liked to have seen that.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Spider of Destiny, same thing.
I feel pretty similar. This one has good guitar tone on it.
Right. So the Flambe's piano-based. Spider of Destiny is very guitar-driven.
Yeah, there's
cool
still
guitar
some
tone.
Really cool guitar tone.
Yeah.
There is still some great trilling piano on this one as well, but I don't know why I find these two tracks to just be like not super memorable.
I think Spider of Destiny is a little more memorable. It's got the opening lick.
Mm-hmm.
And you can whistle it. It's very melodic.
That's true.
It's the better of the two. These are still minor tracks. They're deep cuts.
I know.
I don't think I'd ever be inclined to put them on a mix or a best of.
I don't think so either.
Maybe Spider of Destiny to show off his guitar chops.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately unmemorable. When it was remixed, it had vocals overdubbed onto it.
That's true.
And again, like it or not, I'm not a fan of it. I prefer the melody. It probably could have been more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of interesting, we then roll right into Egyptian Strut.
Yeah.
I love this song.
Me too. This is a really, really good track.
Yeah. To me, this is for Bruce Fowler as a brass player what Peaches on Regalia was for Ian Underwood as a wind player.
Yeah.
It says here in the liner notes, Bruce does all the brass.
Does he really?
He's all the brass you hear. He's the trumpet. He's the low brass you hear.
That's so cool. The brass is what sticks out to me on this song.
Right. And with the overdubs, it's just like Uncle Meat, just like a lot of his other albums that you get those layers where it's multiple instruments.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like an orchestra.
It does. Yeah.
It's big. It's echoey. It sounds like a Cecil B. DeMille, like a biblical epic, or it sounds a little Egyptian. Like I can picture, those silent pictures where they're all doing the Pharaoh dance and all that.
I like this track because it builds. I think it's goes
very
somewhere.
well orchestrated.
Yeah, and that's maybe part of the reason why
it wasn't meant to have lyrics.
It wasn't meant to have lyrics, and the last few tracks, they don't feel like they go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I really like songs that have direction, and Egyptian Strut feels like it's building towards something.
It does, and it keeps going back to that main theme. Mm-hmm. It's a very well orchestrated classical piece.
Agreed.
I would use it to show off Frank's skills as a composer and as an arranger too.
Definitely.
And also as a producer, being able to layer that many sounds is quite impressive.
That's a really good track.
All right, so that's the end of side A, I believe.
Yes.
Flip it over, and then we get Time is Money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is one that also had lyrics originally intended for it. I think this one holds up quite well as an instrumental.
Yeah.
When we were listening to it, I remarked that this sounded like something you would have heard on the first Hot Rats. It's got that nice jazz vibe to it. The tuned percussion, Ruth Underwood, it's not obtrusive. It's not cartoony.
Not at all. Yeah.
It's just a nice accent. It's a very colorful piece. With the lyrics, I think it's horrible. The melody it's meant for instruments. It's not meant for voice.
I definitely agree with that.
What was your take on Time is Money?
You said pretty much everything I would have said about it. Is that I do like the percussion. It doesn't feel like it's invading my space fully.
Is it making you feel unsafe?
I've said that a lot today.
Is it giving you a Me Too moment?
No.
Okay.
I've said that it doesn't feel like it's too much. It doesn't feel like it's overkill. It feels like it's in the right places.
Right. It's very restrained.
Yes, restrained is the right way to say that.
And it's cool, and it's got that nice jazz vibe.
Agreed.
All right. So then we get the title track. Now, much like Zoot Allures, this album is anchored by 3 monster guitar songs.
Yep.
Sleep Dirt is atypical. This is not the Zappa that we hear on Zoot Allures. This is not the rip-roaring chainsaw guitar of wind up working at a gas station.
It's acoustic.
It's a very gentle acoustic
Which
piece.
I love. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's meandering.
It's delicate.
Really delicate. It's playing that's like, you don't hear it a lot on other Frank albums.
I would call it dulcet.
Yes, it's incredibly dulcet.
These are adjectives you don't typically associate with the music of Frank Zappa. And that's why it's so cool.
Yeah, we were actually, earlier when we were re-listening to the album, we were kind of talking about how the album ends, or this track ends sort of abruptly, like there's cold water being thrown on it because it is so pretty. It needs like...
Yeah, so Art Barrow, who played bass with Frank, is someone that we've been in touch with, and in my research on Zappa, he's always been down for an interview. Hell of a guy. Shout out to you, Art, if you ever see this video. We love you. But he said that Frank would do this thing called squirting vinegar on a track.
Yeah.
And he held to the belief that Frank, if a song got too sweet or if it was too pretty, he just had to make it a little sour. Don Preston said something similar too about just having to fuck it up with an ugly chord.
Mm-hmm.
You get the same thing with Sleep Dirt. You have this beautiful, dreamy acoustic duet. You have James Yauman, who replaced Tom Fowler as the bass player in the Mothers,
right,
doing the rhythm track, this beautiful ostinato throughout. Frank does the solo, and then you hear James, whose nickname was Birdlegs. You hear James.
I want to know the story behind that.
I don't know. The story behind Tom Fowler getting grounded from the band is even better. But he starts bungling notes,
mm-hmm.
and you hear, damn. And Frank goes, you getting tired? He goes, nah, my fingers got stuck.
Oh, and that's how it ends.
And it's just a smash edit into the next track. Yeah, putting eyebrows on it. Same thing. Putting eyebrows on it, pouring vinegar on it. Absolutely. So, yeah, I've heard both of those phrases used by people associated with Zappa. I think Steve Vai was more with the eyebrows thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like that.
So yeah, it's like he couldn't let the music be too sweet. He couldn't let the audience be too moved. He had to just slam on the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's short for Frank. It's like a 3-minute track.
It is short.
And then again, smash edit, and then we're into the final track, and it's a monster. I love this one too.
This is such a good one.
The ocean is the ultimate solution. Besides being a true statement from a chemical perspective, truly the ocean is the ultimate, the end-all be-all solution.
Right.
Again, with the eco references, Frank was a secret, like...
I know. Well, we just did the ship arriving too late to save a drowning witch, and
Yeah.
those have some similar themes. But this one, he's got that real, like, twangy 12-string guitar.
in a different tuning. This is I don't know what type of tuning it is.
I was trying to figure it out and couldn't.
It's not the blues tuning. It's not G, and it's certainly not E, but I think it's an open modal tuning, something you might hear out of East Europe.
Yeah.
On a 12-string acoustic. I mean, we're hearing Frank is painting with colors that you don't typically hear on his palette.
Yeah, it sounds super metallic to me.
Yes, I think he's playing it with a metal pick.
That would also make sense about why it sounds metallic.
Gets a distinct sound with a metal pick versus nylon versus plastic versus the finger picks versus your nails. So absolutely, compared to the last couple albums, compared to his career so far, you have Frank really trying out new colors.
Right.
That's one thing I love about this album. It's what makes it so unique and so precious to me.
Yeah.
It's a top 10 for me, for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Though I might ultimately give it a B+ because there's a couple tracks that are lacking. I would rather hear someone try something new and get results that might have some middling results than someone trying the same shit over and over again.
I agree with that. And speaking of something new, is this track also has some killer upright bass on it.
Oh my gosh,
And
Patrick O'Hearn.
Super talented.
Yeah.
And upright bass is just a really, really tough instrument to play.
Supposedly it's one of the most difficult. That one, the oboe, the bagpipes, and the French horn.
I want to start a band with only those instruments.
Hey, in the People's Republic of Portland, I'm sure they're growing off of the rose bushes.
Oh.
But yeah, so you get the upright bass solo. It's a 13-minute track, so you get a couple different waves.
Mm-hmm.
You get the opening bit, which is more of the acoustic guitar.
Yep.
The drums are more frenetic. I noticed that. It's like 2 acts. You get the first 5 minutes and then the back 8.
Right.
It stops for just a moment, and then you get the remaining 8 minutes. That is what is on the Leather compilation that came out in '97, adding more controversy to whether Frank wanted it to be the full 13 minutes or not. But the drums are a little slower, but the fills are more artful, more tastefully done. You get the upright bass solo, and then it goes into Frank on electric guitar.
Right.
This is a cool song. Now, here's the catch. This was not recorded in real time. This was not O'Hearn, Bozio, and Frank in the studio all at once jamming. These songs, these tracks were recorded like 18 months apart. This is another work of xenochrony. The fact that it goes on for nearly a quarter hour is a testament to Frank's compositional and production genius.
Yeah, I fully agree with all of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Although I do think in that first part, some of Bozio's drumming is sped up. Some of it sounds a little too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, the results speak for themselves. It's a wondrous tune. It's action-packed.
It is action-packed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those 13 minutes go by fast. They really do.
Good driving music. This is a good album to have in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I would for sure put it in the car.
Yeah.
In fact, I had to get it out of the car to listen to it here in our living room tonight. All right. So, parting thoughts about Sleep Dirt, Hot Rats 3. Which perhaps we should start calling it Hot Rats 3.
Yeah,
respect the composer's wishes.
We should. Except I think that little Sleep Dirt thing is super cute. But I think you can definitely see so cute. You can definitely see how this fits into that trilogy. I think it works. It fits along with the saga. And I would like to respect Frank's wishes, but it's such a great album. Even though there were 2 tracks that I mentioned earlier that kind of didn't stick with me super well, they're still, like the other one we just reviewed, it's got these 3 big tracks, and this one has even more than just the 3.
Right. So I've got
it.
I've got it right here. We talked about it yesterday. Yeah. It's worth mentioning, and forgive the redundancy of having overlap, but as these are standalone videos, along with Zoodalures, Sleep Dirt, a lot of these tracks were meant to be a double album entitled Night of the Iron Sausage, which again throws the whole Leather thing into dispute. It throws the whole idea of Hot Rats 3 into dispute. What the hell was going on? I don't know. And the guy who could talk about it has been not with us for a quarter century. That said, in the same way that Help and Rubber Soul by the Beatles sound like part 1 and part 2, I think these records do sound like you could listen to them back to back and not feel like you like you changed bands even. There's a very similar vibe on both albums. And this one bridges the gap with Studio Tan as well. Mm-hmm. Any other parting thoughts on Sleep Dirt? I love what you said, though.
Thanks.
It's a very memorable album. It's a beloved favorite of mine. I will always stick up for it. I think some of Frank's stuff in the 70s, the stuff that got more famous, is not always my favorite. I'm not the biggest fan of Apostrophe, for example. Mm-hmm. Overnight Sensation's good, but I think One Size Fits All is better. And that one was more popular in England than it was in the States. Mm-hmm. I like Bongo Fury better. It's like there's a couple different histories of Frank in the 70s. There's the albums that were smash hits, and then the other ones that came out, and I don't know, they were more pet projects for him.
Right.
It's a weird album, and certainly unique in his catalog in that regard, and certainly unique as being his first all-instrumental rock-based record. That's it for night 8.
Yeah.
Unless you got anything else to say about this.
No, I think we summed it up pretty well.
Are we done with Leather for the Zappadan?
I don't know. I never want to say never.
I mean, there's Zappa New York, Studio Tan.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, Zappa New York's pretty good.
Studio Tan is not my favorite.
No. The side long ones are not my favorite.
Yeah.
I know what we're going to do tomorrow. It's
Gregory Peccary.
I like it better than Billy the Mountain.
Yeah?
Yeah. The one on Just Another Band from LA. But yeah, I think tomorrow we might do Chunga's Revenge.
You gave it away.
That's okay. I didn't even know Chunga was pissed off in the first place, let alone that they are now seeking revenge.
Chunga's pissed.
Chunga's pissed, and they're coming for revenge, and that'll be tomorrow for night 9 of the Zappadan.
Cheers and have a good night.
Yeah, thanks. By the way, thank you for watching, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.